at Falcon Tech Industries. Monday mornings typically signified deadlines and coffee-driven hustle. But this Monday was unique. A mysterious figure entered the sleek glass lobby in a wheelchair, his sharp blue suit and composed demeanor sparking quiet intrigue. The man was Robert King, Falcon Tech's new CEO. However, he had no plans to announce himself. Instead, he had made a daring choice to walk, or rather roll, into his company unnoticed to observe its true nature. Meanwhile, Susan, the assertive HR manager, strode through the office with her usual air of superiority. She wasn't one for second chances, particularly not for those she considered beneath her. Without hesitation, she spotted the man in the wheelchair and immediately approached, her tone dripping with condescension. "This area is for employees only," she snapped. But Robert's unwavering gaze didn't falter, and for a brief moment her words lingered in the air unanswered. What Susan didn't realize, and couldn't fathom, was that her careless assumptions were about to unravel her career in front of the entire office. The channel Real Life Stories now invites you to witness a tale of justice, transformation, and the power of unexpected truths. What will transpire when the woman who enforces workplace rules finds herself at the mercy of one she just dismissed? Keep watching to find out. Susan's heels clicked sharply against the polished floor as she surveyed the office, her keen gaze darting between employees. Her reputation as a strict HR manager had been earned through years of dismissive remarks, cold stares, and decisions that allowed no room for empathy. Today, however, she had no clue her actions would come under scrutiny in ways she never anticipated. When she first saw the man in the wheelchair near the lobby, her irritation flared instantly. He didn't belong, at least not in her meticulously managed version of Falcon Tech. Striding toward him with her practiced authority, she disregarded his confident posture and the sharpness of his tailored blue suit. "Excuse me," she said curtly, tilting her head just enough to appear both impatient and condescending. "This area is for employees only. Let me assist you in finding the exit." Robert King, calm and composed, tilted his head slightly, his gaze fixed on Susan, assessing her every word and movement. "Actually," he said evenly, "I'm precisely where I need to be." The air between them grew tense, but Susan either didn't notice or didn't care. Her lips curled into a faint dismissive smile as she crossed her arms. "I don't know how you managed to get past security, but this is a private area. You can't just—" Before she could finish, a voice cut through the tension. "Susan, what are you doing?" Emma, the regional manager, approached in a near panic, her face pale. Unlike Susan, Emma was fully aware of who this man was. She had been briefed on the CEO's unconventional plan, and the realization of what was unfolding in front of her made her stomach drop. "What am I doing?" Susan replied, her tone sharp and defensive. "I'm addressing someone who doesn't belong here." Emma's voice cracked as she blurted, "That's Mr. Robert King. He's our new CEO." The words landed like a thunderclap. For a moment, the bustling office seemed to freeze. Employees nearby halted in their tracks, some whispering, others wide-eyed as they turned to witness the drama unfold. Susan's confident demeanor faltered, replaced by a growing pallor. Her arms dropped stiffly to her sides as her mind raced to process the humiliation sinking in. Robert leaned forward slightly in his wheelchair, his expression unreadable but his presence undeniable. His voice, steady and razor-sharp, cut through the silence. "It's interesting," he began, his words deliberate and calm, "how people reveal themselves when they think no one is watching. Respect isn't just a company policy. It's a necessity, and it seems you've overlooked that." Susan's hands fumbled as she tried to muster a response. I didn't mean," she stammered, her voice faltering under the weight of his unwavering gaze. But it was too late. The whispers around her grew louder, and the judgment in the eyes of her coworkers was impossible to ignore. Emma, still standing nearby, looked on with a mix of relief and dread, while Susan's arrogance had long been a source of tension in the office. Witnessing her downfall so publicly was a reminder of how fragile power can be when built on fear and prejudice. As Robert addressed the gathered employees, his calm authority transformed into a rallying call. "This company is built on innovation," he said, scanning the room. But innovation means nothing without inclusivity. Discrimination of any kind will never have a place here. Change starts now.
The employees erupted into applause, their faces lighting up with a renewed sense of hope.
Meanwhile, Susan stood frozen, her world collapsing as the weight of her actions and their consequences became undeniable. Each moment was a reminder that the path she had taken, one paved with arrogance and disregard for others, had led her here, and there was no turning back. As the applause subsided and the room grew quiet again, Robert King took a final moment to look out at his team. The tension that had gripped the office just minutes ago had been replaced with a sense of hope and possibility. "This isn't just about one person," Robert said, his voice steady but filled with conviction. "It's about who we are as a company and as individuals. Every one of us deserves respect, and every one of us has the responsibility to give it." The employees exchanged glances, some nodding in agreement, others looking intrigued. Susan, meanwhile, stood near the corner, her earlier confidence replaced with visible regret. She had spent years tearing others down, but for the first time, she seemed to grasp the weight of her actions. It was too late to undo the harm, but the lesson was unmistakable. Power used to belittle others ultimately crumbles under its own weight. As Robert wheeled out of the meeting room, his presence left a ripple of change behind him. Emma, the regional manager, felt a renewed determination to lead with compassion. The employees, inspired by Robert's words, carried a new energy as they returned to their desks, eager to build something greater together. The Falcon Tech had always been a leader in innovation, but now it was poised to become a leader in integrity as well. Later that evening, as the office lights dimmed and employees packed up for the day, Robert remained in his office. His actions had sent a clear message, but his work was far from over. For Robert, creating a culture of respect wasn't about a single moment. It was about consistency day after day. This story isn't just about Falcon Tech. It's a reminder for all of us to stand up against prejudice and treat every individual with dignity, regardless of their role or appearance. If you've ever witnessed or experienced a moment when justice prevailed, share your story in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and help real-life stories now reach 10,000 subscribers. Together, we can inspire change, one story at a time. Jordan Walker stood in front of Urban Luxe, his flagship store, clutching a plain cardboard box labeled samples. Dressed in worn jeans and a hoodie, he appeared to be just another delivery driver navigating the bustling streets of Manhattan. But inside, his heart raced, not with nerves but with purpose. Today, Jordan wasn't merely delivering samples. He was delivering a test, a decision he made on impulse, yet one he hoped would reveal the truth about how his employees treated people they considered unimportant. Stepping through the sleek glass doors, Jordan was immediately greeted by the polished interiors that represented the success of his luxury brand. Yet what unfolded inside wasn't the warm professionalism he had built his company on. It was a chilling glimpse of arrogance and prejudice. Two sales associates, Mark and Rachel, barely looked at him before making biting comments, their laughter cutting through the air like a blade. "Wrong door," Mark sneered, while Rachel added with a smirk, "This isn't your kind of store." What they didn't know was that the man they were mocking was their boss, and he wasn't about to.